This is the story of a man who single handedly destroyed an entire kingdom. He accomplished all his goals, and when there was nothing left to achieve, he decided to peace out. But instead of the afterlife, he was sent back to when he was 14 years old, a time when he was considered an S grade loser and bullied by everyone. But now, Jack has had the experience of his entire past life. This time, everything is going to change. Revenge is coming for everyone who wronged him. But how will this second run go? Let's find out from where it all began. It's a full moon night at 34. Jack sits on a hellish battlefield, looking back at his life, wounded and exhausted. He wonders where he went wrong. His only regret? If only he had a better sword, a budget Excalibur. Maybe he could save his sister from being handed over to the Empire. He feels broken. He thinks maybe I wouldn't have become this monster if things were different. But then he remembers his master, the one who taught him everything when he was just one level noob. Jack wishes he had been a better student, but it's too late now. In the middle of his thoughts, a trembling boy approaches him with a sword. Jack realizes his end might come at the hands of a child. The boy screams, "You killed my father, you monster!" Jack, tired of words, just thinks, "Tell me something new, brother. I'm bored of being just called a monster." Despite its wounds, Jack pushes forward. He destroyed an empire, yet his small interaction takes him back to his old days. He asks the boy, "What's your name?" The boy replies, "Jack Sturt." Jack is shocked. His name is Jack too. The boy cries, saying he needed his father. Feels like a boy inside. "You needed your father? I never had even had one." Jack doesn't apologize. Instead, he gives the boy a choice. "Kill me." The little Jack panics. He thinks if he does this, he'll be a monster slayer. Monster Jack knows he could easily escape and regenerate, but not today. Little Jack drops the sword and bursts into tears. Jack consoles him by saying that you did a good thing. People would have called you a hero, but then they would have driven you crazy. Don't live a life of regret like I did. Finally, the monster Jack declares himself dead. He falls and dies without explaining anything, but in his final moments, one thought remains. If I could go back, could I change the course of my life? Then the rebirth happens. Jack bites the dust. But wait, let's look at who he was before. Jack was the unluckiest protagonist. His father hated him for no reason, and his mother died the day he was born. He only knew her through a portrait. He had two siblings, a beautiful elder sister and an older brother named Bassett. His full name was Jack Voltaire, but he eventually abandoned that name. Became his only goal, and he wiped out the entire Tulan Empire. He was unstoppable until he embraced that. But now it seems someone has effectively reset him. Let's talk about the new beginning. He looks at himself. Is it magic? House Voltaire was a noble family. Loyal to the king, Jack was the youngest of three. As a child of Marcus, he was expected to live quietly and not dream of becoming the head of the family. He spent most of his time in the Rose Garden, an isolated villa that was basically his place of exile and loneliness. As Jack sits there, lost in thoughts, his only servant, Ron, arrives. Ron was his butler, his servant, and his only true family. Ron offers him a drink. Jack jokes, "Is there poison in this?" Ron laughs, "Probably not." Jack knows Ron is shady, but he's grateful. Besides Ron, there are 10 random NPC gods, but Jack doesn't care about them. His only question now is all this true? What should I do next? Right now, Jack is not a powerful traveler. He is just a 14 years old boy. He has no mana, no special powers. He's a still weakling. Suddenly, someone hits him hard on the back of his head. Jack staggers in pain. It's been years since he felt real physical pain. To make things worse, his fresh tomato juice is ruined. He looks up angrily and sees his older brother, Fawn Wheeltier. "Why didn't you greet your older brother?" For sneers, Jack glares at him with pure hatred. This is the same man who bullied him and stopped him from ever training in mana. Memories flood back. Jack remembers how Fawn used to throw tea on him, call him useless, and threaten him. "If you even dream big of magic or swordsmanship, I'll kill you." Despite being of noble blood, Fawn treated Jack like a background character. Because of Fawn and his mother's family, houseman, even the commoners outside used to laugh at Jack. But there was one light in Jack's dark life, his elder sister, Elizabeth. She was the only one who truly loved him when everyone else abandoned him. Elizabeth was beautiful and kind, but because she was a girl, she couldn't become the head of the family. Her fate was already decided. She was to be a political tool. She was married off to the fourth prince of the empire, a man worse than any corrupt politician, who treated her like a prisoner. Thinking about his sister's sacrifice makes Jack's blood boil. He glares at Fawn and says, "You'd better die." Meanwhile, Fawn, enraged by Jack's gaze, tries to punch him, but then the unthinkable happens. Jack grabs Fawn's arm. The guards are stunned. Jack, without a hint of fear, throws his older brother into the furniture. Fawn loses it. He draws a sword and starts using mana. The guards are shaken, using a sword against an unarmed 14-year-old, but they stay silent out of fear. Jack just laughs at their hypocrisy. Even when the butler Ron tries to intervene, Fawn munches him. Jack isn't worried about Ron though. He knows Ron is no ordinary man and has many secrets. You talk too much, Jack interrupts him. Fawn swings his sword, but Jack, even without training, is too fast. He dodges the blade, gets close, and slams Fawn's face into the stone pillar. Crack. Fawn's skull might be fractured, but Jack doesn't care. He's just settling a small part of the score for years of humiliation. Fawn falls unconscious. A guard reaches for his sword, but Jack's cold glare stops him. Touch that sword and you'll knee will blow off. The guard retreats in terror. Jack then grabs Fawn by his hair and drags him to a pool of water. He submerges Fawn's head in the water. As his brother struggles and groans, Jack remembers everything. After Elizabeth's wedding, Fawn became the Marquess and ruined the family. Elizabeth had sacrificed her life for this family, only to be told by the prince on her wedding day, "You are not even my legal wife, you're just here for show." Remembering Elizabeth's helplessness makes Jack want to turn into the Hulk. He sees Fawn, the same man who was once a bully, now trembling and begging for help. Jack sees the same terrified face he used to see on his victims in his past life. Just as Jack is about to deliver the final lethal blow, someone stops him. Ron, his loyal servant, tries to intervene, and for a second Jack stops. But he isn't done with Fawn, not even close. Before letting go, Jack grabs Fawn's head and smashes it against the edge of the pool one more time, just for good measure. He tosses his brother aside like a piece of trash and barks an order to the guards, "Take whatever's left of him." Fawn's is lucky he's still breathing. Jack just waves his hand casually, muttering, "Good job," and bumps into Ron. As he walks away, no one says a word. The silence is deafening. The news spreads through the family like wildfire. Fawn, the golden child, the stepbrother, the one with the full backing of his mother's powerful house, is now unconscious and bedridden. He was supposed to be the next heir, a talented third circle mana user who mastered it at 17. Now defeated by a loser younger brother, the family is furious and the rumors are flying outside. How is Jack so strong? Why did he hide this power? Everyone wonders if Jack is finally making a move for the throne. All eyes turn to the Marquess Waltier, Jack's father. He sends out an immediate order. "Bring Jack to main building now." And where is Jack? He's casually sitting there eating cake. When the servants panic and tell Ron, Jack just shrugs, finishes his bite, and decides to go alone. Ron wishes him luck as Jack sets out. As he walks through the building, it's a total death stare marathon. Everyone looks at him like he's a murderer, but Jack couldn't care less. What do these random NPCs have to say to me? He thinks. Jack reaches his father's room, but the guards block his path. They give him this silent treatment, trying to taunt him. Jack finds the whole thing hilarious. To get their attention, he delivers a sharp kick to the guard's knee. The guard's face contorts into a mix of pain and rage. Jack just looks at him and says, Change that face or I'll pick you up and move you myself." "What the hell did you say?" the guard barks. Jack doesn't repeat himself. He just kicks him again until he falls. "The Marquess called me. Why are you blocking the way?" The guard stammers that they aren't allowed to explain. Jack realizes this is just another petty way to punish him. He turns around to leave. "Where are you going?" the guard yells. Jack scoffs. "If it's so important, the Marquess can come and talk to me himself." He walks away, leaving the guards with the jaws on the floor. When the Marquess hears about this, he actually laughs. He realizes Jack has truly changed. Soon, a massive, arrogant convoy arrives at Jack's villa. It's Marquess himself, the same greedy man who once traded Jack's life for his own dreams. Jack knows this man doesn't deserve the title of father. Marquess asks, "Why did you do all this?" Jack stares back coldly. "What are you even talking about?" His attitude makes Fawn's mother scream in rage. The Marquess unleashes a wave of energy to test Jack's spirit, but Jack stands his ground like a rock. "Have you been training?" the Marquess asks. Jack takes a slow sip of his drink. "I just felt like it." Fawn's mother is losing her mind, but the Marquis silences her. He looks at Jack and says the coldest thing a father would say. You are useful now. Jack's eyes narrow. If I weren't useful, I guess I wouldn't be your son. The Marquis asks if Jack wants to be treated like his son now, but Jack shuts it down instantly. That ship has already sailed. The Marquis leaves without another word, leaving Jack slightly shocked. You're leaving so soon. Why even come? As the convoy pulls away, Jack spots Fawn's mother and flips on his troll mode. Hey, are those new wrinkles on your face? Jack was being sarcastic, and he said, maybe I can give you some beauty tips. Since Fawn is a bit busy being bedridden, her face turns bright red with anger, and Jack feels a wave of pure joy. Oh, and sorry about the felon incident, he adds with a smirk. Later, Ron arrives with the bad news. Jack is sentenced to 20 days of solitary confinement. Ron tries to scold him, but Jack just relaxes. Relax, Ron. When Fawn used to beat me, nobody cared. Now that I taught him a lesson, I'm the criminal? Please, Jack spends his confinement like a bored artist, drawing eights on the floor like a Picasso. He has 30 days of vacation left, 20 days for the punishment, and 6 days to travel to the Royal Academy, the elite school for the noble kids. He's in his first year, and the first semester just ended. Jack remembers his old master has a deep connection to that academy. He has to meet him. But as he sits in the dark, one question keeps haunting him. How am I still alive after all that torture, and how on the earth did I actually come back to the past? Jack asks Ron where his prison will be, and Ron hesitates. Finally, he drops the bombshell. Jack is being sent to the Domain's criminal quarters. Jack is stunned because other noble kids are spending their summer vacations at fancy parties. Jack is being hauled off to a literal dungeon. To avoid the embarrassment of being dragged away by knights, Jack decides to head there himself. Once inside his cell, Jack realizes the situation is, well, slightly better than expected. He's got a bed, a toilet, and 3 meals a day, but the bed looks like it belongs to a museum of dinosaurs. And the food, let's just say it's the purest form of trash. Jack's blood boils. His father, the Marquis, is basically a king in this territory, and he just threw his own son into a hole. Jack knows what the family is whispering. They probably think he's used some dark magic artifact to crack Fawn's skull. He can already hear the fake story that they have made up. Greedy Jack used dark magic, and heroic Fawn tried to stop him. Thinking about this twisted logic makes Jack want to hit his head against the wall. He needs to escape, but he knows his 14-year-old body is still weak. Only 5 feet 5 inches and 121 pounds. In his past life, he survived because he was a monster. This time, he doesn't want genocide, he wants pure power. Jack's plan is simple: to get to the academy, rebuild his strength, and recreate a team of geniuses to save Ron, Elizabeth, and his master. Sitting in the dark, he gathers a glowing spark of mana in his palm. In this world, mana users are ranked from 1 to 10 circles. First to third are the beginners, 4 to 6 are experts, and 10th circle is reserved for masters. It takes Jack 2 hours of intense focus to form 8 mana circles. As the mana ball glows in his hand, he feels like the first time he trained at age 17. Suddenly he hears footsteps. He quickly dispels the mana and pretends to sleep. It is his stepmother. No, the voice is too soft, too kind. A voice calls his name, and Jack bolts upright. It's a voice he's only heard in his dreams for decades. Standing at the cell door is his older sister, Elizabeth Boltier. She is just as beautiful and kind as he remembered. Jackie, she whispers. Jack hasn't heard that nickname in a lifetime. Elizabeth is devastated to see her brother in a cage. She wonders why he resorted to dark magic when she could have taught him herself. But Jack is just lost in his emotions, staring at her to make sure she's real. I'm glad I'm not dreaming, he says softly. Jack suddenly suggests they run away to the mountain. He knows how Fawn and their stepmother treat Elizabeth, and he wants to find her a safe shelter. But the moment he speaks ill of Marquis, Elizabeth screams his name. To her, the Marquis is still their father, and she begs Jack to be patient. Jack looks at her, remembering the horrific future that awaits her. He stands up and tells her to step back from the door. Jack gathers his mana and with one explosive blow shatters the cell lock. Elizabeth is speechless. When did you learn to do that? She was gasping. Jack rushes to her and hugs her tightly, tears streaming down his face. Elizabeth is confused, but Jack knows the truth. In his past life, he interrogated Elizabeth's future husband, the fourth prince. What that monster did to Elizabeth was so horrific it would have shocked Jack the Ripper. Jack was the only one who knew the prince was a devil. That's why, in his previous life, Jack wiped out the entire imperial family, starting with that prince. In the original timeline, 17-year-old Jack ran away, and 10 years later, their kingdom was destroyed. Elizabeth, desperate to save her family, fell to her knees before the fourth prince, begging for mercy. But because she wasn't his legal wife, he pushed her away like trash. She spent 4 days begging in the freezing rain just to get her family free. Jack pulls back from the hug and looks in her eyes and said, "Everything will be different this time. I will give you the life you actually deserve."